You miss anyone?
Yes.
All right.
Renee Johnson, District 4.
You did, I don't know.
We begin our meeting with an invocation that's an expression of inspiration for us. We do this by following our invocation, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation is by a council member. It will be Ms. Mayfield this evening, and it's intended to solemnize the work that we do. We celebrate religious diversity in our community, including those without a religious faith, and tonight we will have our invocation, as I noted, by Councilmember Mayfield. And then immediately, if you wish to participate in either the invocation or the flag, then let's take your choice. If not, we understand that that's your perspective on this. So with that, Ms. Mayfield.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is a non-denominational prayer for empathy amongst meeting participants. For those that are inclined, you may either bow your head and or lower your eyes. In this convergence of minds, let empathy be our guiding star as we share our stories and perspectives. May we take a moment to step into each other's shoes, to feel the pulse of their experiences. With each empathetic connection, we fortify the bridges that unite us, ensuring that all deliberations are enriched by a tapestry of diverse insights. Through this invocation of empathy, let us weave threads of understanding and compassion, fostering an environment where every voice is truly valued. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We're now going to move on to our public forum for this evening. On behalf of the entire City Council, I ask that all speakers and audience members be civil and courteous in their use of language. Speakers are encouraged to address the council and should refrain from responding to people that are speaking, audience members, or someone like that. We want to ensure that every voice is heard, and it's best when we listen. And so we will now begin with our public hearing and with our public forum. So because we have a rule that we have 15 speakers tonight, and you have 2 minutes for each speaker. And now where are my speakers? All right, we're going to start with our public forum, and we will go, as I said, through 15 speakers. And we will start with Jonathan Gardner. Mr. Gardner.
Can I go? All right. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hope you all are doing well. City Manager, Mayor, council members, and staff members, thank you guys for listening to me today. My name is Jonathan Gardner, and I am the founder and executive director of Guardhouse, Charlotte's premier workforce development program for underserved college students. And I started the organization in 2019 because of my own experience trying to find a job here in Charlotte. See, I went to Charlotte School of Law, and for those who are probably familiar, it's shut down, and I needed to find a job. However, though I had a lot of experience, I didn't have professional connections. And it's in that moment that I learned that students who come from underserved communities are twice as likely to be unemployed upon graduation. So I developed Guardhouse to not only give them the experience that they need to enter the workforce, but more importantly, build their professional connections. And I'm here today to talk to you all because I understand workforce development is an extreme priority for the city right now. But more importantly, us as a city, we want to grow to become in that top 10 in upward mobility. And since 2019, we can help with that. See, we've raised over $2 million by way of support from Bank of America and Wells Fargo to create over 200 workforce opportunities by connecting our students with small businesses, nonprofits, and government departments like Mecklenburg County, where we currently have a 3-year contract. And as a result, 100% of our graduating seniors have either went into employment within 6 months of graduation or continued education. But the other important part is the local support that we provide to smaller businesses. Right now, we maintain over a 4.3% rating out of 5 in terms of employer partner satisfaction. And although that's all great, we really want to see this grow. And so therefore, in closing, I hope that we're able to partner with the city's workforce development initiative so that we can align and really grow this thing, because there's so much more work to be done. And I know with your support, we'll get there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker, I may not get the name exactly right, but I'm going to do my best. It is Piotr Pyratsa. It's Czech, right? Is he here? Is he here? Okay. All right. Piotr Patruzak. We'll see. All right, so if he's not here in the building? Okay, thank you. All right, our next speaker then is Natalie Yaspos. Thank you.
Thank you, Council, for your time. My name is Natalie Aspo. I'm the president of the Oberbeck Farm Neighborhood Association in the Park Crossings area of South Charlotte. I'm here today to request an update to Chapter 10, Article 3, Section 10-136, neglect of a premise in the Charlotte, North Carolina Code of Ordinances. Over the years, we've had several residences within our neighborhood that are obviously vacant and unattended. When speaking with code enforcement, I have been advised that, quote, unless the homes are open and vacant or are in a dilapidated condition enough to warrant a housing case, there is nothing that code enforcement can do, end quote. This is a major concern for our neighbors. Some of these houses are known to have been vacant for many years, one of which I know for a fact has been vacant for decades and belongs to a possible hoarder. Although the exterior of the houses do not appear to be in dilapidated conditions, nor are the yards unkempt, we don't know what's happening inside or what vermin concerns there might be, which could easily impact the immediate neighbors. Then there's the concerns of the increased criminal activity in our area. With these known and very obviously vacant homes around, this can only be grounds for hiding spots for these delinquents. And as a victim of a recent attempted break and entering in my own home, I personally would like to limit such possibilities in my neighborhood and around the city. As the code explicitly states, it shall be unlawful for a person to neglect a premise or create a dilapidated condition on property. I'm requesting that code enforcement be allowed to act upon homes that are merely neglected, not just in a dilapidated condition. We should be encouraging these homes to...
Thank you for making that. I'm going to ask if you would work with Sean Heath, who actually is the staff person that can help you and have some information for you. And we look forward to the response that we can have later from you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. All right, our next speaker is Jay Walker. Mr. Walker?
Thank you.
I do.
So he said we are.
Mr. Walker, thank you. Do you want 2 minutes, please?
Well, good evening, good night. I would like to say, first of all, this is Black History Month, and we have 28 days in Black History Month, and we got 2 minutes to speak. That's terrible. That's terrible. Okay. My wife and I live in Marjorie Molina's district, and we have 2 signs in our yard. Our lives don't matter, and this ain't living. And the city council is predominantly Democratic. And this is not democracy, that's hypocrisy, where you let a white, racist bitch harass us, threaten us, and stalk us. Okay? The mayor, I give you the benefit of the doubt, maybe you didn't realize, last time we were here, you recommended us to speak to the mediators and to the police. The police is part of the problem. They enable this white racist guy, and the mediators suggested that we speak to him, kumbaya, shake hands, come to an agreement. They don't really see that it's not a feud. Okay, it's racism, discrimination. And the mediators and Willie Ratchford need to be called out. He seems to think that this is it's good guys on both sides.
Thank you very much for coming forward again today. My understanding, though, is that we have provided a number of opportunities and efforts through our Community Relations Department to you as well as Mr. Uri. And I think that some of these mediations, people have said, yes, we want to work it out, but then it doesn't happen. And so I think that we will encourage to work with you and both parties to participate as long as it's in good faith. I'm sorry, ma'am, if I am speaking, and if you wish to speak, please go outside and then, or sign up to speak. Thank you very much.
I'm not going to speak. I'm not going to speak to him, okay? You don't ask the Jews to speak to Hitler, okay? It's not going to happen. I'm not on board with mediation with him.
And that is a significant decision that you have to make. So your time is up.
Decision's already made.
Thank you very much.
Decision's already made. I'm not speaking to him.
Okay, thank you.
Fight the power.
Our next speaker is Joseph Morena. All right, now our next speaker is
Joseph
Joseph.
Joseph
There, I see
Margolis.
him up there. Okay, I understand. Marlo, I am having a tongue twister day, I think. Thank you, Margolis. Thank you.
I'm just waiting for the clerk to distribute some materials.
All right, I'm sorry, please begin. Oh, we're passing around a document?
Yeah, just,
Okay.
I have visual aids that are going to be relevant. Does everybody have it?
Almost. It's still coming around.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead, 2 minutes.
Good evening, council. I'm here to present a problem and a solution that you have the power to execute at no additional cost. And the problem exists with how land use has been determined in our neighborhood. With the construction of North Graham Street and University City Boulevard, that intersection has radically transformed my neighborhood. My neighborhood is Michael's Landing. If you look on that visual aid, we're the condo community in the picture at the top of both pictures. And if you look, it used to just be Rumpel Road, and it was a nice little two-lane tree-line road that was relatively easy to access. And if you look at that, just look at the tree canopy. It's pretty extensive. And in terms of accessibility, kids from my neighborhood would often walk along the side of the street to get to Dorada School for outdoor recreation. Now, if you look at the second picture, it's been cut off, that access to the school has been cut off by the North Graham Street construction. And additionally, you look at the tree canopy, it's been stripped. And this causes the city to fail us in several of the key priorities of the comprehensive plan, which I've listed on page 2. But the important part is that you have the power to help us with this because you own that parcel that's outlined in red. And it's basically someone's old yard. A house used to be there. It's ready-made for placemaking and tree canopy. And why I'm involving you is because the city staff has already educated me that they plan on making some sort of decision on it. So I'm asking for you to influence that towards placemaking.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so Joseph, I think we're going to have Allison to come and talk with you about what might be the opportunities and respond to that. So thank you very much. Our next speaker is Valerie Washington. Ms. Washington, you're up at the top, and you have access to the microphone there.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's someone up there to make sure that that works for us, we'll be in good shape.
It's on.
Yes, please, go ahead and begin, Ms. Washington.
Okay, good evening, everyone
Good evening.
on the
Good
board
evening.
up there. I came in because I was here about 5 months ago, and I asked you guys for your help. And it was a housing situation that I was in, and Mr. Kenny Robinson and Miss Danielle, they worked really, really hard to get me a new place. And I am just grateful for that. Most of all, I'm grateful to God, but I'm grateful to them and you guys for sending them to me, because I got out of a situation where it was unlivable. And they came to the rescue, and I just came to say thank you. And I am just so happy right now because they came through for me. I'm sure they could do it for other people, but it just takes time because it took me a few months. But I am so grateful that you guys were on your job. I mean, you just got to be patient. But they worked hard, and I wanted to thank them, and I thought they'd be here tonight, but thank y'all.
Well, we'll make sure that they know that you came, and we will make sure that we express your gratitude, and we are grateful that
Yes.
you come down to say
Hallelujah.
that this was appropriate and addressed. So
Yes.
thank you so
I
much,
just
Ms.
wanted to
Washington.
thank you. I just wanted
You
to
brought
thank
me
you
some
guys.
sunshine today, girl.
Hey, hallelujah. Hey, I'm good. I don't care what nobody says.
Us some sunshine.
That's right. Thank
The buzzer
you.
didn't go off yet, so, no, I'm just kidding.
Okay, you're welcome to stay and tell anybody about your
Thank you.
experience, okay?
I'm telling them right now.
Please.
All right. Our next speaker is David Riboloso. David?
Good evening.
Thank you. 2 minutes.
Beautiful.
My name is David Roboloso. I am the founder and creator of Operation Clean Health. Operation because I'm retired military, and health because I was in healthcare for 30 years. and clean because now I'm in the laundry business. So my wife and I are have 2 laundromats, and we've been very blessed. And with that, we created a nonprofit called Operation Clean Health. The purpose of that is, or the way it's going to work is that is by creating a community laundry fund. And because laundry touches so many people, everyone actually, there's several buckets that we're going to be able to work with, or groups. Churches, schools, other nonprofits, and retired military and first responders. So there's a lot of potential, there's a lot of opportunity out there to do some good things. I have a plan that I potentially, it could go national, but I want to start with my first location on North Tryon. I have 2 stores, laundromats on North Tryon, 6301 and 4554 North Tryon, which is very close to Sugar Creek intersection and the corridors of opportunity. And once I get some traction going, I like to create get some momentum, create a group, and create a project called Charitable Charlotte. So like I said, there's a lot of potential there that we could take it citywide, statewide, but I need an advocate, I need a champion, I need your support to help make this happen. So if I'm available, you can come out and then check out my stores, and I'm at your service.
Thank you. I think we're going to ask Monica if she would take a look at what it goes further to do, and she'll contact, Monica, would you mind working with Mr., I can't say your last name, David? So, okay, so, but on the situation, so thank you very much. Our next speaker is Kelsey Joseph. Go for it, Kelsey.
All right, thank you, Mayor, Council, City staff. Thank you for having me tonight. My name is Kelsey Joseph. I've met with many of you, and I appreciate your time. I'm here to voice my support for animal care and control again. I won't rattle off statistics or give you a glaringly realistic description of what it's like day in and day out at the shelter. Myself and all these other advocates have been here for over 2 years doing just that. During these nationally tumultuous political times, I think it's even more important to show up for our local community. Rather than being here begging for the same things we've been asking for years, a new shelter and a department independent of CMPD, I could be more engaged in the work I do to help our unhoused neighbors. I could spend more time helping at the shelter. I could simply enjoy dinner with my family and find some joy amongst the chaos. I'm hoping this budgeting season you will continue to prioritize animal services. Our shelter is overflowing. It's the worst it's been in a while. Last week, 229 animals came in. Staff is having to make decisions on who to euthanize and carry out that awful responsibility often. It's collectively exhausting and traumatizing. Until systemic changes are made, it's only going to get worse. People are losing access to affordable pet-friendly housing. Oftentimes, those animals are brought directly to the shelter. Other times, they're abandoned and later retrieved as strays. Anecdotally, we're recently hearing of local vulnerable people fleeing the U.S. out of fear and having to leave their pets behind. Where do those animals go? Likely right to our doors. Charlotte has not been proactive in growing animal services alongside population growth. We've got to start aggressively catching up. I'm asking you to please move animal services out from under CMPD, fund, and quickly push forward the shelter expansion project. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Kevin Alexander.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Alexander.
My name is Kevin Alexander, and I'm here to speak to you about the needs of Charlotte Mecklenburg Animal Care and Control. I've lived in District 1 for nearly 7 years. Over this time, my wife Madeline and I have been actively involved with local animal rescues including North Mech Animal Rescue, Yellow Brick Road Animal Rescue, and now Friends of CMACC. We love the city of Charlotte and specifically chose to move here after graduating from college. We have all the amenities someone wants in a city, yet it retains that small neighborhood feeling. There's growth and development in the city that sets it apart from other cities, such as our light rail, greenways, parks, highways, and more. The leadership in the city anticipated this growth and is meeting the demand. However, working closely with rescues and shelters, I've become aware of the impact the city's growth has had on resources and staff at CMACC. According to the American Veterinary Medical Institute, over 45% of U.S. households own a dog, over 32% own a cat. Applying that to the nearly 1 million people in Charlotte, this is conservatively over 770,000 animals, not counting multi-animal homes or pocket pets such as gerbils, hamsters, etc. Charlotte Mecklenburg Animal Care and Control has not had the resources to keep up with the growing number of animals in the city. The shelter needs more funding for a bigger, updated shelter and more staff positions. They also need to be moved out from under CMPD. Without this, they will continue to be strained and limited in their ability to impact their community. City staff, volunteers, and fosters will continue to witness death and trauma through euthanasia at their workplace. Please be the leaders your city needs and take action today. Prioritize the needs of the city and provide the resources that CMACC needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Deneen L. Carroll.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Okay, so I'm here to address an issue that impacts everyone. It's funny, we were talking about congestion in Charlotte in different ways. Traffic. So I have a request or a problem statement. A lot of companies now have hybrid return to work right now. And I know right now there's an effort to go on with DOT to deal with congestion. My request is, coming from Ballantyne, for example, I think it's really not wise to have road construction during rush hour traffic. We're already trying to get uptown, and there's a lot of people coming in. So if I give an example, Fairview and Providence in the morning, it sometimes takes 30 minutes just to get like half of a mile because there's construction. My request is, if you can work with DOT to ask them, just like other major cities, if they're going to do work 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., because it is creating a traffic nightmare for people coming from all parts of Charlotte to do road work in the middle of rush hour traffic. It's already stressful enough in the morning. More and more people. I used to live in Waxhaw. I moved to Ballantyne. It's taking me longer to get to work now than when I was in Waxhaw. And a lot of companies now are also going to potentially move to 5 days a week. So can you imagine what this is going to look like? It's already bad enough if you don't manage the construction. So I'm just asking City Council to work with DOT to regulate the time that you decide to do construction. Because I'm going to tell you, it doesn't make sense to do it on rush hour traffic. So that's my ask.
Thank you very much for your comment. So we'll follow up. If you will see, Allison will help us. You know, there's a rule book for traffic and all of that, and they know more about it than most of us up here.
Amen.
So we'll have you work with Allison right over there, if you give her your information, so that you can have a conversation about, and we can figure something out, okay? Okay. All right. So now that takes us to our next speaker, Kendall Little. I'm sorry, you have photos and you want, yes, if you would give them to the officer, he'll get them to us. All right, thank you for joining us tonight. You have 2 minutes.
Good evening, Charlotte City Council. Thank you for taking the time to allow me to speak for you briefly. Before I begin, I want to tell you a quick story. On November 24th, 2024, I woke up to a loud boom and a screech. As I went outside to see what happened, I realized it was another accident between Belmont and North Davidson. This accident was different from any other one I've sat through and heard before. It was a pregnant woman, and I heard her scream, "Oh my God, my baby, my baby, my baby." Sometimes I still think about that moment today, and that's why I'm here before you. This was the 8th accident that I've witnessed at that intersection from when I first moved to the area in April. I'm aware that a traffic light is approved at this location, but I'm here today asking Charlotte City Council to please expedite this process because the situation has not only worsened, I've already seen 3 accidents to start 2025 in the same area. I'm here today because I'm hoping that we can expedite the process of getting a stoplight or a crosswalk because it's a matter of public safety. Driving down that road every single day is a risk not only to my life, but to my fellow Charlotteans. Also, it's very difficult for people to be able to support the local businesses such as Optimus Hall, Rosie's Coffee Shop, even Birdsong Brewery, because there's not a crosswalk. Oftentimes, it takes me minimum 1 to 3 minutes to cross the street because I'm having to wait for traffic to die down. Finally, I want to address the impact on taxpayer resources. This intersection is right by the CATS terminal, which in some of the photos you'll see a CATS bus was involved in an accident. That was on October 31st of last year. Not only that, emergency responders have to take their time and resources, which I appreciate. However, sometimes it takes 3 to 8 cop cars to solve a problem with an accident, and I appreciate that, but the issue is that there are so many other issues in the city that it would be helpful if they didn't have to respond to a recurring problem that happens about once a month. I've left you photos documenting these accidents, and I hope the city can work for a better alternative for Charlotteans and for everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to have you talk with Allison so that we can get some more information. And I see that the photos are coming around, and we'll make sure that do you need your photos back, or okay? Then we'll make sure that the staff gets those as well. Thank you very much. Okay, so our next speaker is Monica Williams. Careful. Yes, right here. Come around and go up to the mic. No, go up one more step. And that mic is live.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is on behalf of the park at Oak Lawn, where I live. Let me tell you a story of what used to be Fairview Homes. It was suggested to be gentrified after being studied like a genome. You see, things were going as planned to support and help people in need. Then things took a turn, becoming slack and not looking back to help support the greed. Millions are spent on housing programs in Mecklenburg. I need to see the mission statement. If that mission does not align with what's going on, perhaps one needs to consider an abatement. The park at Oak Lawn, formerly known as Fairview Homes, was created to make things better. Sadly, things are not working out and has forced us to start writing letters. Shrek is a perfect example. You see, let me explain the need. He too was faced with gentrification in his face because the fairy tale folk needed a place, because they too fell victim to greed. Mecklenburg County represents Duloc, Shrek's fictional town. City fairy tale folk around. Shrek's beloved swamp represents our neighborhood home with lots of caring to give. But dumping people around like fairy tale folk is not a way to live. I would be remiss not to include Shrek. Oh, what the heck, he's quite the feisty soul. As he planted the seed, he became the voice of fairy tale folk, and after they spoke, he decided to address their needs. You see, Shrek represents homeowners that care about their hood. He doesn't mean any harm or cause an alarm. He just wants Lord Farquaad to keep his word and do good. You give them a fish, they eat for a day. If you teach people to fish, they will eat for a lifetime. Stop giving away the fish. So what's the moral of the story? Analogies are a great way to emphasize art imitating life. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Sean Williams.
I know he's my front brother. I can't remember Sean. Good evening, everyone.
Mr. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen of the City Council, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Sean Williams, and I'm the president of the Homeowners Association for the Park at Oak Lawn, which you've just heard. Just so you know, the Park at Oak Lawn consists of 71 single-family homes, the Anita Stroud Senior Center, which has 83 single units for our seniors, and 178 apartments that are managed by Enlivian. Additionally, we're being supported by an Ivory Baker Rec Center by Park and Rec. I'm here to address a pressing issue that affects our community's safety, but also the very fabric of our neighborhood. I call it the mismanagement of our apartment complex by Enlivian. Over the past few years, we've been witnessed a troubling rise in violent crime within this tight-knit development. Shootings, both random and sometimes targeted. I have a family here today of Carlos Levia, who lost his life, 25 years old, in our community a few months ago, contributing to the uptick of the poor management of Enlivian over the apartments. Many of these units in the apartments have fallen into despair and disrepair, becoming breeding grounds for criminal activity. When basic maintenance is neglected, such as excessive trash, no power washing, the overflowing of bulk trash, poor drainage systems, which creates moats in many of the areas, creating an environment for mosquitoes to breed. The conditions of the apartments not only creates an unsafe environment for residents, but also invites illicit behavior. Broken lights, unsecured entrances, and inadequate security measures send a message that these properties are not being cared for. This in turn attracts unwanted elements, leading to increased crime rates that ripple out of the impact of the entire neighborhood. Moreover, the deteriorating infrastructure of the apartment complex has serious implications for our community's property values. When potential home buyers see poorly maintained rental properties, they often choose to look elsewhere, driving down the values of surrounding homes. Families invest their savings into properties, hoping to build their future, only to see their investments diminish.
Mr. Williams, thank you.
Yes.
I would like, I think you know Mr. Heath over here, and I would like if you would organize your group to meet outside. Mr. Heath will meet with you to get the remaining of your remarks, as well as talk with you about what your concerns are. And I think Ms. Mayor Pro Tem Dante Anderson will join Mr. Heath as well. Thank you very much. John. Wow. You know, you just can't stop them sometimes. Okay. All right, so our next speaker is Ann Lambert. Ms. Lambert.
Good evening. My name is Ann Lambert, and I'm from the theater company Charlotte's Off-Broadway, and I'm a resident of the Baptist Center. Thank you, City Council members, for voting to move forward with the Arts and Culture Board. With this action, you are moving Charlotte closer to the next step that is most meaningful for me, enabling independent artists like me to apply for competitively awarded grants to support our regional projects. That $2 million investment out of a $2.5 billion budget is a modest investment that will have a huge impact for independent artists in Charlotte. When I watched the meeting where the vote was taken, I heard and appreciate the concerns expressed by select council members regarding accountability and equity. I think one way to address those concerns is for all city council members to become more aware and knowledgeable about independent arts in Charlotte. I personally invite you to attend more arts events, particularly those produced by independent artists like me, and to read the Arts and Culture Plan, and to invest more time and energy and money in implementing the plan's recommendations. I am here to help you achieve those goals. I invite you to reach out to me to schedule a time to meet with me and some of my other independent artist friends at the Charlotte Off-Broadway space. It's a 55-seat black box theater inside the VAPA Center I personally maintain so that my artist friends and I can produce small theater projects and pursue our artistic ambitions. I welcome you to talk with me and my friends about your concerns and discuss ways that we can address and mitigate those concerns going forward. I want you to be excited and assured that the money the City of Charlotte is investing in independent artists is fuel for an economic and creative engine that will produce exponentially beneficial results for everyone involved. Thank you again for supporting independent artists in Charlotte.
Thank you, Ann. Our last speaker for this evening is Tommy. And we have one more after him, Tommy Nichols.
Hello, Mayor Lyles, City Council, and City Manager. My name is Tommy Nichols, founder of Power Up USA and the Charlotte Black Film Festival. As a 15-year organization, we just received our first grant from the city, and I thank you. As a result, last night we closed submissions on the microfilm grant, where we're giving African and Latino Americans here in Charlotte $500 to $5,000 to produce their next film. We're also sponsoring and producing an production assistant boot camp in April for the workforce development so folks can go directly on set. So I thank you. During the committee presentation, someone mentioned that ASC in Charlotte is Creative was the only organization to work with the National Endowment for the Arts. Just want to get that clear. We've hired 2 years in a row to work with the National Endowment for the Arts to review and recommend $1.4 million in funding to media art organizations across the country. In addition, I was asked directly by Sundance and the National Endowment for the Arts to be a founding member of the Independent Media Art Organization that's national, where I represent 8 states in the Southeast. Finally, tomorrow, you guys will get 2 emails. One is an impact statement to share with you why I think we're the best art and culture and digital inclusion organization in Charlotte. And second, to invite you to our new space, CLT Creative Workspace in the Freedom Wilkerson Opportunity Zone, where we have a 5,200 square foot space with an AI lab, 20-station computer lab, podcast studio, film and photography studio, a conference room, and other entities where we're empowering the next generation of creative and digital equity individuals. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Thank you. All right, so we have one additional speaker, Chef Maria Kemp. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members. 73% of employees have a second secret job, caregiving, and that's from Forbes. Many miss out on valuable resources and support because they don't even realize that they're caregivers. Who are these caregivers? They're city employees, first responders, transit workers, CMPD, and thousands in the private sector, from small businesses to the 18 Fortune 500 companies that call Charlotte home. They're balancing careers while raising children, caring for aging parents, or supporting loved ones with disabilities. Caregiving isn't just for elders. It affects all generations. How do I know? Because I was one of them. I'm Chef Maria Kemp, and for 8.5 years, I cared for both parents 6 years apart while managing my career. Like thousands of Charlotte residents, I silently juggled work and caregiving, stretched thin emotionally, physically, mentally, and financially. Why am I here today? As a DEI professional, I've worked to create inclusive workplaces, and caregiving is a workforce equity issue that disproportionately impacts women, minorities, and lower income workers, yet it's often overlooked. I've shifted my focus to ensure caregivers don't have to choose between a paycheck and the care of their loved one. Is Charlotte ready? In 2030, 73 million Americans will reach age 65. This is a silver tsunami, meaning more people than ever will need care or be responsible for providing it. Will Charlotte be ready? Caregiving is a workforce crisis, but Charlotte can be a leader. Investing in caregiver support strengthens our economy before employees burn out or relocate their families to other states. I would love to speak with a member of your team for further action. Who will meet with me? Thank you.
Thank you. Jeff, thank you for those remarks, and thank you for reminding us that the silver tsunami is coming. For many of us that are around this dais. But I want to ask if you would work with Monica over here. She's got, and having some conversation around what possibilities that we have in this city to be supportive of our seniors. So thank you, and the caregivers that help them. Thank you very much. Now I believe that is the last speaker for our public forum, and we now will go into the public hearing that we need to have tonight. This is a public hearing on Norfolk Southern O-Line corridor acquisition financing. And we're going to open up to the public hearing for that. And then, do we have any speakers?
No, ma'am.
We have no speakers. So we have no speakers. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
And a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. All right. Do I have a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing and approving a directly placed installment financing contract in an amount not to exceed $93 million?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please raise your hand. Anyone opposed? All right, thank you very much. And so next, we'll move into the policy section of our agenda. Do we have any updates, Mr. Jones?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of council. I have before you my 30-day memo, which outlines from February the 26th, the National League of Municipalities Town and State Dinner in Raleigh, North Carolina. Through our committee discussions, we also have National League of Cities Congressional City Conference in mid-March. We have the zoning meeting on the 17th, and while I think we probably cut a day off of Sean's 45-day clock, we will have our March 24th, the next time there's a business meeting, an update on the public safety plan that we have been talking about. I think even in the interim, Sean is reaching out to all of you to make sure that he keeps you up to date with some of the things that we're talking about. And then, Mayor, the last thing I'd like to do is just point out two things in the manager's report, and it really highlights many of the things that this council has done in terms of public safety. So I want to talk a little bit about CMPD's civilian crash investigators that just began this past mid-December. Since that time, they have responded to more than 2,000 crashes, and maybe more importantly, that's about 1,800 service hours from uniformed officers that are now able to address higher priority calls. That's the equivalent of 6 officers in that short period of time. So something that came out of the Safe Charlotte plan that has been implemented that's been working. And then lastly, a shout out to Charlotte Fire Department. I had an opportunity, much as you, Councilmember Mayfield, a couple of weeks ago. I think you were at the 130th class, the fire recruit graduation, just a wonderful moment. I think if you've never been to a police recruit graduation or a fire recruit graduation, just the energy in the room for the families and everyone being proud. I will say that kudos to Charlotte Fire as we sent resources to Kentucky, much like we did to the western part of North Carolina. 21 members of CFD went to Kentucky to assist with rescue operations in southeastern Kentucky. which was overwhelmed by historic flooding and dangerous winter conditions. Some of the same people we deployed in Western North Carolina. CFD is adjusting operations to ensure local fire stations remain fully staffed. But it's just a shout out that it's not just what occurs for us, it's when the call comes, we go. And I'm very proud of our public safety folks. So I just wanted to do a little shout out tonight for both CMPD and Charlotte Fire. Thank you.
All right, so now we'll go to item number 9, the National League of Cities 2029 City Summit. For item number 9, is there a motion to adopt a resolution?
So move.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second for the hosting of the National League of Cities 2029 City Summit in Charlotte. And so we have a motion from Mr. Mitchell and Ms. Molina, a second, and so is there any discussion? Mr. Mitchell.
Mayor, let me just thank the CRVA for doing an outstanding job filling out the application for hosting the National League of Cities. Citizens, this will be our 3rd time hosting this conference for every elected official across the United States. We did it in 2005. It generated about $5.3 million. We did it in 2017. It generated about $6.3 million. And so I think this is a great win for our city to once again showcase why we're the 15th largest city and everybody's still trying to come to Charlotte. I'd like to thank everyone from this table for being involved in National League of Cities. It takes really a team effort and a city effort for National League of Cities to want to come to Charlotte again. So thanks everyone, and to Marjorie, Dante, Tijuana, Victoria, Renee, this is your baby. In 2029.
That's exactly
Let you know now.
You know I won't be up here, but yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
I won't be up here, but how visit y'all?
Thank you. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Any other speakers? Hearing none. All in favor of the adopting of the resolution, please raise your hand. Anyone opposed? There's no opposition. So now our next item is to adopt a resolution authorizing, item 10, adopt a resolution authorizing an upset bid process for a portion of land containing approximately .065 acres from the 1.0180 acre city-owned parcel. Identification number is listed in your book, located near North Brevard Street, Charlotte, North Carolina. And that's item A for this section, and then the item B is to direct the city clerk to cause a notice of proposed sale to be published, which shall describe the property, the amount of the offer, and the terms under which the offer may be upset. Do I have a motion?
So move, actions A and B.
All right, we have a motion. Any discussion?
Need a second, Mayor.
All right, we need a second. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of the process, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, so the next item is item 11, adopt an initial finding. I'm sorry, we've got that done. Adopt initial findings resolution authorizing the city manager or his designee to make appropriate application to the local government commission for issuance of general airport revenue bonds not to exceed $350 million and setting a public hearing on April 28, 2025 for this financing as required by the IRS, Internal Revenue Service regulations.
So
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion to approve. Mr. Winson, I think that we have what the attorney has said to me is that you would come when we have the public hearing.
This is a motion just to set the public hearing for the date to occur. It hasn't been advertised yet for a public hearing. You will have an opportunity to speak at that time.
Speaking about the agenda item that we consider a public hearing.
This was not a public hearing on your agenda. and the council would need to waive its rules to allow members of the public to speak.
Because we would have to allow people to speak on this once that the hearing has been set, that you would have to come back for that.
It's like it's April 28th, right?
The
So
only
we have-
decision tonight was to set the hearing.
hearing,
So if you have a comment about whether or not we should set the hearing, feel free, but otherwise, the subject matter will be discussed at the hearing.
Okay?
Yeah. Well, if you want to waive your rules and allow someone to speak on your agenda items, even though they're not on the agenda and doesn't call for a public comment.
So, second.
I'm sorry. What happened over here?
She made a motion to waive, and I seconded it.
All right, we have a motion and a second to waive your rules for items on this
Just
type
to let
of
him
this
speak.
type. So to allow Mr. Winston to speak. All in favor, please raise your hands. 1, 2.
Sure. We're early.
All right, so, and with that
So that
motion
was me.
fails.
So it failed, but me, Johnson, and Mayfield voted to say
Right,
yes.
3. Okay, that's 3. So the motion does not
Tarek said
pass.
yes as well.
So thank you. We'll see you on the date, I'm sorry,
Is
Mr.
Tarek saying yes?
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so can we see the vote again?
He did. It was only,
We did the vote.
It still failed.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry, Mr.,
How many opposed?
how many opposed to the? I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, do we have 6? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6, so
More
the
than
motion
four.
does not
Just getting the
pass.
just getting the record.
Right, yes, Mr.
But Mayor,
Mitchell.
just for clarification, in City Attorney, I just want to be clear, because it says that the public hearing is going to be set for April 28th, 2025. And so our former colleague will get a chance to speak. We know Braxton passion, so I don't want the narrative to be out there. We don't want Braxton to speak on this issue. There's a date set in the book for April 28th, 2025, Braxton. So I want to make sure we see your smiling face back here. Okay.
So thank you very much. So with that, our next item is item 12, appointments to the public. Oh, did we set the hearing? Yeah, we
Hearing.
voted on the hearing
Yeah, the
already.
hearing is in the.
We already did.
It's set already.
Yeah.
We voted on the hearing already, didn't we?
No, we did not.
Okay, now we're going to vote on the motion to have the hearing.
For this, to
We
vote.
lost it in all of that. So all in favor of having the motion for the hearing as identified in item 11? All right, that's unanimous. Thank you very much. All right, so now we go to item 12, which is, I'm sorry.
Did we make the motion and second it?
She had a motion.
Yes, we had a motion and a second.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, good, okay, all right, good, okay.
All right, so the next item is item 12. The council will make appointments to the Public Transit Advisory Committee. The council members voted by ballot and submitted their ballots to the clerk earlier. And so any nominee receiving 6 or more votes is automatically appointed. And so let's turn this over to the clerk to proceed the results of the ballots.
Madam Mayor and members of council, there were 2 names that received 6 or more ballots, and those are Robert Hillman and Tanya Jameson. Those are
Move to
your
approve by
appointed.
acclamation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept those 2 nominees for our motion. So Robert Hillman and
Tanya Jameson.
Tanya Jameson. Any other comments? All in favor of that motion? All in favor? Anybody opposed? Thank you very much. We have a motion
Motion
to
to
adjourn. Thank you. And we have a motion, all raise your hands if you want to adjourn. If you don't want to adjourn, just stay and hang around.
I think I stay and hang around.
Without the ones like you working tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. No matter your industry, Grainger's here for you with professional-grade supplies. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
WGU has a ton of resources. That really allowed for flexibility for me. I had a bunch of credits and they transferred over, and because we can accelerate, I finished very quickly. With WGU, you can start whenever.
Learn more today